Okay, so there's been an update to the Payday 3 Dragan Files ARG that gives us some interesting story details that will probably be important in the near future. On top of that, the Prospect 1 file is now open and revolves around our next Heister, Clover. We've known that Clover has been coming to the game for a little while now since she's been directly referenced in previous marketing material, but now she's confirmed to be coming with the next DLC. This update to the Dragan Files ARG happened on Tuesday, and since then, we've received a lot more information about the upcoming DLC that's releasing in less than a week from now. And because of that, you can expect not one, not two, but 3 videos from me over the next 3 days. In a moment, we'll continue to take a look at the updated ARG. Tomorrow, we'll be diving into the full reveal of the Boys in Blue DLC and everything else you can expect with Update 8, and the day after that, we'll be discussing the next few updates and DLCs, which are coming sooner than you might think. But for now, Starbreeze have released a short little trailer to accompany this update to the ARG.
Hey, it's me.
Hey, any luck?
Yeah, Lady Luck is smiling. A weapons dealer that we both used in the past let slip that someone ordered several rifles with a specific setup.
Rifles?
Listen, this is a common gun, but with that specific setup, yeah, I know it's her.
But?
I had to expose myself, but I slipped a note on how to get hold of Vlad in one of the rifles. She should trust him, as much as anyone can trust that motherfucker.
Well, hold on, back up. What do you mean, expose yourself?
Listen, no worries. But I need to stay underground to keep it that way. But that's all good. You know, more time to look for old friends, right?
Oh, shit. You had me worried there for a moment. Stay in touch, yeah?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Now, there's actually quite a lot to take away from this trailer. Not just the confirmation of Clover as our next Heister, but obviously we see Dragan in a safe house of sorts. We don't know exactly where he is, though the trailer suggests it could be Spain, France, or Italy, so we can at least deduce that it's somewhere around southwestern Europe. He tells Shade that he's had to expose himself, and this is likely related to the email exchange between Dragan and Gage. Remember, Dragan asked Gage to track down a shipment of custom Car 4s that were of particular interest to Dragan. And once Gage found these weapons, he warned Dragan that the guy putting them together was likely being watched by a lot of different parties, both criminal and law enforcement. So something must have happened while Dragan was dealing with these Car 4s, so now he has to lie low for a little while. But of course, what's the deal with these Car 4s in the first place? Well, as I suggested last time, it's a brand new weapon preset coming to the game, and it's actually Clover's new signature weapon. We know this because if you navigate over to the Dragan Files ARG website, we can take a closer look at the files that Dragan's browsing in the trailer. As I said earlier, the Prospect 1 folder is now open and contains our first look at Clover's headshot, as well as a CCTV screenshot of her during a heist. And on top of that, we have her criminal record and an order sheet for the Queen's Wrath custom Car 4. Now, Dragan suggests he was able to identify that this weapon belonged to Clover because of its specific setup, but on top of that, I'm pretty sure that the fingerprint on the bottom right corner of the weapon's blueprint matches Clover's. That's some really lovely attention to detail from the team putting this ARG together if that's true, and if that's unintentional, then obviously that's slightly less exciting, but if that's intentional, then really, hats off to the team. That's a good little Easter egg, I like that a lot. But as we know from this week's blog post, Clover has been back in Ireland up until now, and we'll be taking a much closer look at what she's been up to there in tomorrow's video, but for now we're sticking to the Dragan Files ARG, because we can now draw together all of this information to establish an outline of what's happened to Dragan, and how Clover has been reconnected with the Payday gang to begin with. But before I explain the story that I believe we're being told here, and we take a look at the rest of this addition to the Dragan Files, now feels like the right time to ask you to consider subscribing if you haven't already. The recent growth here on the channel has been absolutely incredible, so thank you, and I don't plan on slowing down anytime soon. So with Starbreeze announcing this week that their partner program is expanding, let's make sure that we're on their radar. Each and every subscriber counts, so if you haven't subscribed yet, now may be the perfect time to do so. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. From all the evidence that we've been given so far, we can deduce that Dragan is the member of the Payday gang responsible for tracking down the remaining heisters after the attack on the gang in 2023. 3. He's clearly taken notice of this Queen's Wrath Car 4 blueprint and drawn the connection to Clover, and then Dragan has asked Gage to help him locate the weapons. Here's where I'm going to break out into a tiny bit of speculation, but don't worry because the evidence does back this up. So once Gage tracked down these weapons for Dragan, I believe Dragan went to Ireland, either because that's where Gage's contact was sending the weapons to, or because that's where Gage's contact was themselves. Maybe they were in Ireland. But regardless of the point of origin of these weapons, they needed to end up in Ireland as that's where Clover is. And obviously at this point, Dragan had identified that these weapons were going to Clover, at least in some way, shape or form. Once Dragan was in Ireland, he made his way to the shipment of weapons to meet with Clover, but because something happened, and we don't know exactly what went down, at least not just yet. All we know is that Gage's contact was being watched by multiple parties, so it wasn't likely the most discreet operation when he was handling these weapons in Ireland. But whatever happened, something happened that forced Dragan to expose himself. So he hid a note for Clover in one of the weapons that instructed her to contact Harudin's caretaker, Harudin being Vlad's brother-in-law. And then I believe that Dragan fled from Ireland to lie low in the safe house that he's currently in somewhere in southwestern Europe. And from this safe house, he'll continue to track down other missing heisters, and that's probably what will be in the Prospect 2 and 3 files. Those are likely to open in the lead up to DLC 3 and 4 over the next few months. And that's what I believe the Dragan Files have been trying to tell us so far. I think that's the story behind this ARG, at least as far as we've got. Of course, this ARG is going to continue, and there's even more in this very update to it. There's an email chain between Dragan and Shade where Dragan suggests that somebody has hacked into his computer and left a picture of a dude sitting on a throne on his desktop. And that dude is none other than Red Archer Live. Similar to how we got a Lil Guy G reference last time, this time it's Red Archer's turn. Thankfully, no one has hacked into Dragan's PC though, as he realised that he put the picture there himself. So maybe Red Archer will be our Prospect 2 or 3 and a playable heister in the future. But either way, watch out Troy, because Dragan has clearly got his eye on you for some reason. Dragan also remarks that his password is the best in all caps, and that his password is also the safest in all caps. So perhaps that's got something to do with the passwords for the secret and don't open files, which for now still aren't accepting passwords. Now, I did also just quickly want to mention that it is likely that Dragan won't be a playable heister, at least not until the end of year 1. I really do believe that Prospect 2 and 3 are going to be the heisters that we get with DLCs 3 and 4, and because of that, it seems like Dragan is going to be our sort of handler and the person recruiting, or shall I say re-recruiting, both new and old heisters. And so once year 1 is done, we'll see if the Dragan Files continue into year 2, which I don't think they will, and once Dragan isn't necessarily a handler anymore, to use that term again, then it's more likely that he'll be implemented into the game as a heister. So even if he does become a contractor for the moment, that doesn't necessarily mean we'll never see him as a heister. I just wanted to include that in this video because that's going to be my stance if Dragan is a contractor. I don't really want to get annoyed that he's not a heister because I do think that they've sort of locked him out of being a heister, at least until we're finished with the Dragan Files. And that's it for this update to the Dragan Files. I'm really enjoying this ARG and will be here to update you when it develops further. If you need a refresher on everything included in part 1 of this ARG, click the video on screen now and I'll see you in the next video.